excited for this match, Nick. Are you ready for this match?
Let's get this show going. Everybody over there by the computers, get over here to the main stage. We got Zelos versus Enemy. It's about to get the show on the road. Give it up, everybody! Come on! Come on!
Do we have fans for Zelos here? They're the fans for Zelos. Do we have any fans for Enemy?
Who thinks it'd be cool to see Zelos lose today? It happened earlier with Silent Control versus Reason. It could happen again today. Come on, guys.
It can definitely happen to anybody, as we've seen here so far at the 2005 World Cyber Games Grand Finals here in Singapore. And we're about to get this match started. Nick, why don't you take us away with the players and where they're starting?
Looks like we got Zelos at 2 o'clock and Enemy at 12. And for those of you who are not familiar with clocks, that means that Zelos is on the farther right and Enemy's going to be at the top.
So we've got Zelos looking pretty confident there. He's looking pretty good to start off. We've got Enemy playing Protoss, Zelos playing Terran. For those that don't know what these guys play, Zelos, known as Perfect Terran over in Korea. Usually you don't get that kind of a nickname by being bad.
No, I definitely don't think you do.
Way to cover there, Nick. Way to cover. Anyway, we've got Scout being sent off, I believe, by Enemy. No, it's going to be a probe building his pylon out pretty far. Keeping an eye on his ramp, we've got Zelos sending off an SCV. Going to be getting his supply depot down. Going to have him block off his ramp, similar to the way that Sarah Woot did in the last map.
I'm noticing that Enemy did not scout with the probe that made the pylon. He sent that one back to mine. Looks like he's going to... I'm guessing he's going to scout with the one that makes the gateway. Hopefully he'll get there in time before Zelos walls off his ramp.
He just waited for that gateway to be built, now sending off his scout. Going to be heading on over towards the base of Zelos to see what he's doing. Getting the racks down now is Zelos. Can you block it with 2 buildings in that spot, or do you need 3? Can you block off that spot with 2 buildings, or do you need 3?
You know, I'm actually not sure. Let's find out. Looks like the pro's moving up to the ramp, and it doesn't look like it can get through. You know, I think that was a poor move by Enemy to scout later. It doesn't look like he can get in there. There's nothing more uncomfortable early game in Protoss vs. Terran than when the Terran walls off and you are in the dark. You don't know if he's gonna 2-factory, if he's gonna fast expand, if he's gonna get an early starport. This game has already started off pretty poorly for Enemy.
We do have some more buildings going down here for Enemy. Getting in the cybernetics core now. Looking at the main base of Zelos. He's got his command center still stationary though. No anything special seen inside his base. His barracks is almost done on the ramp. Got another pylon going down there inside the main base of Enemy right now. Again, he's still not able to scout. Can you sneak a probe through using that probe trick?
I don't think, if you're talking about the probe trick, the one where you build the pylon in front of the wall and then force him through, in this case, no, because there is no room for the pylon to be built. So all Enemy can do is guess as to what Zelos is going to be using to possibly destroy him.
That's definitely going to be a rough thing to do versus this player that everyone knows is Perfect Terran. Zelos getting his first factory down now. It's almost completed, about 95% done. We've got Scout here for Zelos inside the main base of Enemy. Going to see the first Dragoon pop. Dragoon going after that SCV of Enemy. Going to chase it away a little bit. Getting in a couple shots. Looks like he doesn't even want to try and chase after it with a Zealot. He's just going to stick with that Dragoon to start things off. Machine shop going down. Does that mean we're going to see some early vultures?
This scouting SCV has not died yet, although I really hasn't seen much, and it's gone now. Zelos sending another scouting SCV, probably going to use the mining maneuver trick to force his way through the Dragoons, since he already had vision of Zelos's Enemy's minerals, so we're going to see.
We've got Zelos throwing down his starport now. He's going to be getting some air units out ASAP. We could see some kind of drop coming. That might be why he got that machine shop. Do you think he'd be going with any kind of a vulture or spider mine drop, or do you think he's going to stick with some kind of siege tank drop?
I don't know, actually. Either could be good. We're going to have to wait and see.
We got 4 Marines on the ramp of Zelos' base, going to be defending it for a little while longer. Zelos playing pretty defensive so far. Robotics facility going down now for enemy. 2 Dragoons now just kind of wandering the area between 2 players' base. We got our first siege tank out, so I think I might have my question answered. You're going to have that robotics facility going down for enemy. Enemy just keeping an eye on things. Put another probe down there. Going to get another building warped in ASAP.
Also, from looking at what enemy's doing, I am seeing the very common 2-gate robotics facility observer opening. He's playing it by the book. He's saying, "Look, I'm not going to try to cheese Zelos. I'm gonna play it safe. I think I can do this the good old normal Protoss way to win."
We got a dropship now popping for Zelos. He's going to pick up 4 Marines and a siege tank. Looks like he's going to be heading on over towards the base of his opponent. Enemy could be taking a hit here to his economy. He's got 1 Dragoon in position. Not going to be very great to defend against that dropship, but it will get a couple shots in. Marine's going to be dropped down first, and here comes the Vultures. It looks like it will be a Vulture drop. Vultures dropping some spider mines inside the mineral line of enemy. Going to force those probes away from the fight. Dragoon goes down to those Marines. Nice micro here coming from Zelos, and enemy going to try and force a siege tank back at his enemy's expo, and ouch, serious damage there on the probes. Several probes getting taken out by those spider mines.
Both players now enemy taking half the Dragoons there with the in front of Zelos' base and harassing the front of Zelos' ramp. I don't think he's going to be able to break the depot. I can't tell. I have never actually really seen a drop quite like that with 4 Marines and 2 bikes with mines. Super fast harassment drop. Very interesting play by Zelos. But to be honest, they both held each other's attacks off, and the game is moving forward.
We got an observatory down now for Zelos. Again, he got that nice early drop there. I was actually kind of half expecting those Vultures for some weird reason. I think it was a gut reaction or something to the machine shop being put down. I really don't know. But anyway, taking a look inside the base of enemy, he's getting himself an expo now. Wants to, I guess, you know, not really take any chances here. Wants to get some economy going from away from his main economy. We got 2 Dragoons. Going to see that dropship. Going to force it back a little bit more as enemy bring down some more Dragoons. Trying to reinforce this mineral lines and make sure he's got no more drops on them.
Dropship moving in. Just barely got deflected by enemy. Almost a little bit of harassment about to go down there. Enemy's actually playing this fairly well, I have to say. His expansion's just gotten thrown up. He deflected the perfect Terran's first harassment attempt. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, so am I. You know what? I'm looking forward to enemy playing also because he is Ukrainian, and believe it or not, I am, well, of course I am American, but I am half Ukrainian, so there's like a little bit of somewhat, almost itty-bitty, you know, national pride.
You've got a little bit of enemy in you.
Yes, I do. Anyway, we've got a dropship going to be picking up and dropping a Vulture inside the base of Zelos. It appears he's going to clear out some room there, heading on over towards his opponent's base. Going to be doing some scouting first before he does any kind of dropping. Seeing what's going on inside enemy's base. Sees some Dragoons heading up towards the mineral deposit. Could be setting him up for a flank. I don't know.
This dropship's been flying around a lot in the back, trying to squeeze into enemy's base. But I gotta say, okay, wait, oh, nope, it got pushed back out again. It's just been flying back and forth, looking for a room to go in there and do some damage. But, you know, enemy so far has been almost impenetrable. I mean, the first drop by Zelos deflected easily. The second drop has not even been able to occur yet. I will say, economically, enemy got the expansion up first. Zelos just now sending the command center over there. Enemy has just a little bit of an edge right now, but I got to say, when you're playing the perfect Terran, you're going to need a big edge if you're going to win.
Definitely. We've got lots and lots of siege tanks now here for Zelos, and he's getting his expansion in position. He's built up his command center, floating it on over along with the racks. Getting some kind of a defense going over there. We got 2 factories, and did I see 2 more going up there?
Important to note, I am looking at Zelos' base right now. And his first 2 factories, only one has an add-on, and he's just now setting up the other ones. I think we can guess there's going to be a very, very high bike concentration with a handful of tanks.
Lots of vultures, folks. We're going to see some serious spider mines coming from Zelos, and he's getting himself in position here to just completely defend. I'm not really seeing him go for the throat. I'm not seeing him go super offensive. I think he is possibly expecting that his opponent may be turtling a bit instead of getting that expo up.
You gotta be careful, because Terrans with micro like Zelos can push you if you try to overexpand, get a little bit greedy. Enemy is playing ultra safe. I'm seeing carefully positioned pylons around the map to spot vulture harass. And I'm also seeing some Dragoons now moving to the smaller bridge, the more central bridge on the map, to a stop circulation of scouting by Zelos.
We got Zelos keeping things safe with some missile turrets, making sure his opponent doesn't send any observers over to take a peek at what's going on. Another gateway going to drop at the Natural Expo.
I also saw this gateway trick used by 4U to block off the backdoor exit for your expansion on Paranoid Android. This seems to be a popular little maneuver that's going on.
We got a big fight about to take place. It appears Zelos going to force enemy back towards the bridge. Probably a bad spot to be on. You usually don't like to go through the choke points when you're getting attacked. Trying to stay back a little bit is enemy. Here comes some vultures coming into the flank of the enemy. Enemy's going to see them, but the vultures have the speed upgrade heading on up towards the top of the map. Vultures heading on up, going to see that gateway, and they are denied. Going to take some major hits by those Dragoons, and the vultures going to be forced back a little bit. Zeal's going to drop some spider mines, and it appears he's just going to stay back and just out of the fight. And an enemy's playing it really safe, and it appears he's doing a good job of that.
Big props to enemies this game. Zelos has been trying to do some damage, and let me tell you, Wack, the damage has not been dealt. Zelos now looks like he's pushing or getting ready to push across, or no, perhaps he's not. I guess he's just securing the smaller bridge on the map. A lot of times these really good Terran players tend to make this maneuver mid-game on this map, where they can completely turtle up and take their next 2 expos and get Max to just push across. I'm kind of interested in seeing what Zelos' plan is.
We got some more scouting being done here by enemy, and it appears he's got the force to back it up this time. We've got several siege tanks across the bridge. Shuttle being seen there by some Marines, going to get in a couple shots there. The shuttle going to try and drop possibly some units inside the siege tank lines of Zelos, but Zelos with some nice positioning there, going to pick up some vultures, possibly get a drop in on the main base of enemy. Enemy seeing some units, going to get in some shots on the spider mines. Zealot's getting nailed by those siege tanks, pushed back, and Zealot's going to be enemy's going to be denied yet again on his little pushes on Zelos.
It looks to me like enemy is seeing what Zelos is trying to do. Zelos is setting up for an ultra turtle position where he's basically going to be taking most of the map. So right now, enemy has most of his units on Zelos' half of the map. Zelos right now sending a dropship through.
We got some major
bikes to do a little bit of damage. First dropship to be seen in a while being made useful.
We got some action going on inside enemy's main base. Enemy having to deal with several vultures. Spider mines going down inside the mineral lines. Probes being pushed back a little bit. Drone's going to be forced to take out some vultures. Nice kills there by enemy, forcing his opponent back a little bit. Several probes have been taken out. Oh, nice job there by the vulture of Zelos. Zelos going to get in lots of shots in on those probes. The probe's taking some serious damage there, and there are plenty of minerals left at that main base. So the vulture of Zelos doing some great micro and holding off those probes for a bit longer. Another probe biting the dust there, and enemy is just letting these probes walk all over his base, getting shot by these vultures. Finally, some Dragoons pop from the 4 gateways, and he's going to be able to send those vultures away, but some major damage done to the economy of enemy there.
I think I counted about 8 or 9 probes killed there. I'm not sure that, as a Protoss player, the one thing you don't want to have happen to you earlier is get some bikes in your base when you're playing against a Terran and lose some probes, because what you want to do is you want to get maxed as fast as humanly possible. You want to be able to crush any Terran push, and losing probes slows that process down.
We've got some major bridge, safety taking place here by Zelos. He's securing those bridges totally. And we've got some action here as Zelos making his way up towards enemy's base. Enemy going to sneak down with some vultures and some dragoons. We've got spider mines being dropped by Zelos here. Nice micro. Zealot's going to get quickly annihilated, as well as the dragoons. And we've got some major fighting going on. Is enemy going to take the opportunity to sneak in and do some damage inside Zelos's bridge area?
I can't tell who's going to win right now, but it looks like Protoss has a lot of units. This counterattack by Protoss is to Zelos' base is killing a lot of Zelos' stuff.
Wow, nice job by enemy. Enemy cleared out one of the bridges, but Zelos doing some damage inside the main base of enemy. Enemy taking quite the hit here, but you know what? He has dealt some major damage to Zelos on this counterattack. I gotta say, enemy's playing this map very smart so far. He did take a loss there, and we've got some fighting going on, but it appears that we do have another Expo getting put down by Zelos. Zelos trying to secure some kind of an economy late game here. We've got a Zealot and several Dragoons making sure that this expansion is cleared out, and enemy going to keep control of it, or at least try to.
It looks like when enemy broke that little fortification at the bridge, it put Zelos in an uncomfortable position. He wants to maintain map control so he can start to consume all the minerals there, and they're both throwing attacks at each other, but they're both beating each other back. This is awesome.
We've got quite the fight going on here, folks, and I know you guys are excited. Can we get a cheer for your favorite player, guys?
Come on, guys, start cheering! Start cheering!
Okay, and it appears Zelos going to move back through the middle of the map here, getting set up again, trying to make sure those bridges are secure, but apparently it didn't work too well last time. Enemy going to get himself in a position for another attack. And again, we do have Terran enemy getting himself set up here, possibly for an Expo in an offensive spot. We've got some action on the bridges. It appears enemy's trying to sneak through this some spider mines and get himself going. He has brought himself an observer to help clear those out.
Very interesting move up here by enemy. I actually have not seen this tactic used on the map. Enemy is making gateways at the mineral gas secondary expansion on Paranoid Android, presumably in the attempt to make it as difficult as possible for Zelos to go there. Some bikes doing a little bit of harassment there, but
wow. I gotta say, this is some great play coming from enemy. I really didn't expect this caliber of a match coming from him, but he is just completely proving me wrong. And here comes the siege line of Zelos, going to force enemy back a bit. But again, enemy with that nice fortified spot there, the offensive expansion, if you will, inside Zelos' territory, inside his half of the map. I'd almost kind of laugh if I saw the same thing coming from Zelos if he just decided to go with that Expo down in the lower left. But he's not yet. He's sending out a barracks, trying to do a little bit of scouting here, trying to keep control of the middle of the map. Little comsat scans coming from Zelos as he clears out that offensive quote-unquote Expo, but we don't really have any kind of nexus there for him. We do have one I saw going down someplace. I think that was one of the other expansions of enemy. Stargate's coming out now. We do have a fleet beacon down. We could see some carriers.
I gotta say, I think carriers are a better move than arbiters on this map. And that's what I think. I am now seeing. I'm now seeing enemy push across the big bridge. He's really putting the pressure on Zelos to not take that fourth Expo. Every second here counts, guys. When the carriers start making it, you want to get as many as possible, and you want the Terran to be as far behind as you can put them.
Enemy now trying to get his third Expo down, and it appears Zelos setting himself up for a push here. Again, Zelos has been playing extremely defensive. Enemy has been taking advantage of that and counterattacking when he's had to. Zelos coming down now with several vultures. Going to drop some spider mines, getting some damage on those zealots. Zealots going to be finished off before they can finish those vultures off. Nice build choice there by Enemy, blocking off the Expo. Very nicely done. Won't happen in time, though. The vultures will be able to sneak through. Some Dragoons coming in from behind, going to try and finish off those vultures. And Enemy will take some losses here. He's going to force his probes out of the area and get them in some kind of a safe spot. But we got 4 vultures left inside his base, and it appears he's going to be able to finish 3 of them off. One will run for its life, and I know the pilot is happy about that.
I am seeing, we just barely, the screen glazed by a Templar. That's going to be good because when Zelos starts getting those Goliaths to fight the carriers, that storm is going to come in extremely handy. Also important to note, I am now seeing the 4th expansion being thrown up by Zelos. I got to say, this game is actually very close. I'm very impressed. Props to Enemy right now.
Yeah, definite props to Enemy. I gotta say, props to the Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, he's playing a solid game versus probably the #1 favorite here at WCG. And you said there's a chance we could see an upset, and I was pretty skeptical. So if you do prove me wrong, I might give you like 10 cents later or something.
You might have to buy me a Coke or something. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got some shuttles coming out now for Enemy. Big fight going on. There goes
nice
the Psystorm.
Storm.
Psystorm right on the vultures of Zelos. Going to force him back a little bit more. I got to say, I love Psystorm. It's exciting for me seeing the lightning. I don't know if it's the pretty colors or what, or if it's shiny or something, but I am rather enticed by the lightning. We've got some carriers popping now here for Enemy, and he's stocking up on interceptors there.
It looks to me like Zelos is now realizing that his opponent is getting carries. He's saying, all right, I can't sit back anymore and just start eating the map. I've got to start putting the pressure on it because if there's one thing Terrans don't like, it's carriers in big numbers.
We've got quite the fight about to happen. Zelos and Enemy getting themselves in position. Carriers headed out front. Big mistake here by Enemy. He's getting seriously attacked. And that's going to be a big hit. Enemy saying, oops.
Enemy typed in oops on the screen, lost both his carriers.
Ooh, he definitely messed up the scouting there, and that's going to cost him a carrier and possibly an Expo. Enemy making a big mistake there, and Zelos going to make him pay for it. Carrier still left behind, going to do some damage to those vultures, and again, this Expo is taking some serious hurt. Enemy waiting for a little while, trying to draw out those Goliaths. The Goliaths going to hang back a little bit. Dragoons coming down, getting annihilated by siege tanks. Nice positioning here by Zelos. Going to hold Enemy back for a little while longer. There goes the Psystorm.
Very nice attack by Enemy. It looks like he might. I can't tell. No, actually, I take it back. Zelos had a lot more tanks. The screen wasn't focused on. Enemy just lost everything. After losing those carriers, and you lose your whole ground army.
I gotta say that mistake by Enemy might have cost him this match, as Zelos sees the opportunity. He's moving forward with his units now. He's been building up a big force of siege tanks and Goliaths, expecting those carriers ahead of time, getting himself in position here, making his way towards the top of the map. We've got an observer. Oh, hey, look at that. It's a scouting unit coming from Enemy, and he's going to scout this time before he does an attack. We've got Enemy Zelos bringing over some SCVs. Possibly to draw some attention out. Nice Psystorm there by Enemy, going to do some major damage to those siege tanks and get in some pot shots. Those high Templar can be some major equalizers. We've seen all kinds of matches in the past used. And there goes the good game. Enemy just going to say good game. He's not going to fight that one out. He saw
cracking under the pressure. He's out. He played that really, really well for, I'd say the first 10, 15 minutes. There's no shame.
It's okay to applaud. It's okay to applaud. That was a great game.
Zelos with the same expression as always on his face. Now knowing that his spot is that much more secured in moving to the final 16.
You know, that was just some brilliant play from both players. I feel privileged to have watched that match. It was really great, and watching Enemy play as well as he did for as long as he did was really exciting, and I think everybody here at the crowd really appreciates that as well. Great game from everybody.
Yeah, that was definitely a great game. I saw some really interesting moves by Enemy back there.
Why don't we pick out some of the better plays there, and why don't we talk about a little bit of those? Enemy, you know, he did that fantastic counterattack versus Zelos at a critical point of the map. Do you think that's what kept him alive so long?
I think it was a couple things. I think it was excellent turtling positioning with the buildings. I was also I found that gateway placement at the southern expansion of Zelos's by Enemy very good. You know, there was a lot of good moves by him, but download the replay when it comes out for sure, guys.
Just a great game in general. Be sure to stick with us, folks. We're going to have some more great stuff here on the main stage of the 2005 World Cyber Games.
Driven by a passion to win, playing hard to hard, face to face. The challenge of a lifetime stands before us now. Beyond the game, in the shadow of the golden gates, we have come to decide our fate. We're here to celebrate. Beyond the game, beyond the game, at last the moment's at hand. All we need is to believe we can. We'll make our stand. Beyond the game, 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 the World Cyber Games. The teams are here, the spirit is right. We're connected now in a powerful way. We celebrate our diversity around the world with a passion to play. The planet will be watching, the message will be heard. Beyond the game, in the shadow of the golden gates, we have come to decide our fate. We're here to celebrate. Beyond the game, beyond the game, at last the moment's at hand. All we need is to believe we can. We'll make our